10 months. That's how long home prices have been falling in Texas. The longest losing streak in over a decade. And here's the part nobody's talking about. While the rest of America is still getting more expensive, entire Texas towns have gone silent. Picture it. Homes sitting empty for 94 days straight. For sale signs rusting in front yards. Sellers slashing prices by $25,000 and still no buyers knock. In one West Texas town, home values crashed 7.4% in a single year, one of the fastest drops in the entire country. So what happened? Why did the buyers just vanish? It's not what you think. It's not only interest rates. There's a hidden force quietly draining the life out of these towns. And once you see it, you'll never look at a cheap Texas home the same way again. Here are the 10 towns. Let's count down. Number 1, Big Spring, Texas. We're kicking off this countdown with the town that shocked even the experts. Big Spring, Texas. Tucked away in the dry, dusty heart of West Texas, Big Spring just posted one of the most brutal numbers in the entire country. In a single year, home values crashed by 7.4%, and over 1 in 5 homes on the market has been forced to slash its price. Let that sink in. While families in other states are fighting bidding wars, sellers in Big Spring are practically begging for an offer. So what on earth went wrong here? The answer is a perfect storm. 3 powerful forces hitting one small town all at once. First, the oil. Big Spring lives and breathes the energy industry. When oil prices are high, the town booms. Money flows, jobs appear, and homes fly off the market. But when prices dip, the rigs go quiet, the paychecks stop, and workers pack up and leave overnight. This is the boom and bust trap, and Big Spring is stuck right in the middle of it. Second, the water. This is arid West Texas, where every drop counts. With drought tightening its grip and water supplies shrinking, buyers are asking a scary question. Will there even be enough water here in 10 years? An uncertainty like that freezes a market cold. Third, and maybe the quietest killer of all, location. Big Spring is remote. It's hours from any major city, so when those oil jobs disappear, there are no shiny new employers rushing in to replace them. The town can't catch its breath. Put it all together and you get a place where the future feels uncertain. And here's the golden rule of real estate. People don't buy homes where the future feels shaky. So Big Spring sits, waiting, homes quietly losing value month after month. But here's the twist. Big Spring isn't alone, not even close, because the same hidden forces are spreading across Texas, and our next town might hit a whole lot closer to home. Number 2, Plainview, Texas. From West Texas, we head north into the wide-open Texas Panhandle, to a town called Plainview. And this one tells a story that should make every small town buyer pause. Here's what makes Plainview so unsettling. Homes here are already cheap, averaging just around $119,000. That's a fraction of what you'd pay almost anywhere else in America. And yet, even at those rock-bottom prices, home values still dropped about 3.5% in a single year, with more than 20% of listings forced to cut their price. Think about how strange that is. When prices fall that hard on homes that are already this affordable, it's not a small wobble. It's a flashing red warning light. It means the problem isn't the price tag, it's the town itself. So what's draining the life out of Plainview? It comes down to 2 things, and they feed each other. The first is jobs. Plainview has been hammered by major employer losses over the years. When a town's biggest workplaces shut their doors, the ripple effect is devastating. Families move away to chase work elsewhere, the population shrinks, and suddenly there are far more sellers than buyers. Homes pile up on the market with no one left to buy them. The second, and this is the one few people see coming, is water. Plainview sits atop the Ogallala Aquifer, the massive underground water source that feeds panhandle farming. But that aquifer is slowly drying up. And in a region built on agriculture, when the water disappears, so do the farms, the jobs, and the reason to stay. Jobs and water, the 2 things a town absolutely cannot survive without, are both running thin in Plainview. And when those 2 pillars start to crumble, the housing market doesn't stand a chance. It's a slow, quiet decline, no dramatic crash, Just fewer and fewer reasons to put down roots. But if you think that's sobering, wait until you see what's happening in our next town. Because number 3 takes a very different and surprising turn. Number 3, El Campo, Texas. Now we travel down to Southeast Texas, to a quiet little town called El Campo, and this one is different. There's no dramatic oil crash here, no headline-grabbing water crisis, and that's exactly what makes it so eerie. Because El Campo isn't dying from one big disaster. It's fading from something far quieter, and honestly, far more common across small-town America. Let's start with the numbers. Homes in El Campo average around $231,000, a fair, middle-of-the-road price, and yet the market here is cooling, with nearly 1 in 5 listings cutting their price. No explosion, no collapse, just a slow, steady leak of demand. So what's behind it? The answer is something experts call the quiet drain, and you've probably watched it happen in your own hometown. Here's how it works. Year after year, the young people leave. They graduate, they chase bigger jobs and brighter lights in cities like Houston, Austin, and San Antonio, and they don't come back. What's left behind is an aging population in a town with fewer and fewer opportunities to keep the next generation rooted. And here's the math that quietly kills the housing market. Every single year, slightly more people want to move out than move in. It doesn't sound like much. A handful of families here, a few empty houses there, but stretch that over a decade and the buyer pool shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. Soon you've got more homes for sale than there are people who want them. Prices soften, listings linger, and the town slips into a slow, almost invisible decline. This is the hardest kind of housing problem to fix because there's no villain to blame. No flood, no bust, no scandal. Just the gentle, relentless gravity of rural America, pulling people toward bigger places. And El Campo is far from the only town feeling that pull. But our next stop? It flips the script completely. Because number 4 isn't fading quietly at all. It's wrestling with a threat you can actually see, feel, and fear. Number 4, Beaumont, Texas. Now we head east, all the way to the edge of Texas, right near the Louisiana border, to the refinery town of Beaumont. And unlike our last stop, the threat here isn't quiet at all. It's loud, it's visible, and it comes back again and again. First, the numbers. Homes in Beaumont average around $178,000, and more than 22% of listings have been forced to cut their price. That's a big chunk of the market waving the white flag. So what's scaring buyers away from this Gulf Coast city? Beaumont carries what I call a double burden. 2 heavy weights pressing down on its housing market at the same time. The first weight is the energy industry. Beaumont is a refinery town, deeply tied to oil and gas. And just like the West Texas towns we've already seen, that connection is a double-edged sword. When energy thrives, Beaumont thrives. But when the industry stumbles, the jobs wobble, and so does the confidence to buy a home. But the second weight is the one that really freezes buyers in their tracks. Water. The wrong kind. Beaumont sits in a flood-prone, hurricane-prone zone. This region has been hit by devastating storms and repeated flooding, and that history leaves a scar that never fully heals. Here's why that matters so much. Every flood doesn't just damage homes. It drives up insurance premiums. And in some parts of coastal and southeast Texas, insurance has become so expensive that buyers are doing the math and simply walking away. Because what good is an affordable home if you can't afford to protect it? And there's something deeper at play too. Memory. When a town floods often enough, the fear of the next storm hangs in the air. That fear alone depresses the market, long after the water recedes. So Beaumont sits, weighed down from 2 directions at once. But if you think rising insurance is brutal here, wait until you see our next town. Because number 5 takes that exact problem and cranks it up to a whole new level. Number 5. Port Lavaca, Texas. Right at the halfway point of our countdown, we arrive at a place that looks like a dream and hides a costly catch. Welcome to Port Lavaca, a Gulf Coast town where you can own a slice of waterfront Texas for around $197,000. Let that price sink in. Waterfront living, salt air, big Texas skies, and a home cheaper than a 1-bedroom condo in most big cities. On paper, it sounds like the steal of the century, So why are homes here stalling on the market? Why aren't buyers racing in to grab these bargains? The answer comes down to two brutal words: coastal risk. Here's the trap. That beautiful waterfront location, the very thing that makes Port Lavaca so tempting, is also its biggest weakness. This is hurricane country. Storms roll in off the Gulf, and the threat of wind, flooding, and devastating damage is a constant looming reality. And insurance companies? They've done the math, and they don't like what they see. Premiums in coastal Texas have skyrocketed. We're talking insurance bills that can rival a second mortgage. But it gets worse. In some cases, insurers aren't just raising prices. They're pulling out of these coastal areas entirely. They've decided the risk simply isn't worth it. Now think about what that means for a buyer. You find a cheap beach town home, you do the budget in your head, and it looks amazing, until you try to insure it. Suddenly that $197,000 bargain isn't a bargain at all, because either the coverage costs a fortune, or you can't get covered at all. And no lender will hand you a mortgage on a home you can't insure. That's the cruel twist of Port Lavaca. The location sells the dream, but the insurance kills the deal. A home is only affordable if you can actually protect what's inside it. So the bargains sit, and the buyers hesitate. But our next town? It takes the danger off the coast and puts it right back in the middle of the oil fields. Number 6 is coming up. Number 6, Odessa, Texas. Now we leave the coast behind and head straight back into the heart of the action, to the oil capital of West Texas, the city of Odessa. And if you want to understand how powerfully one single industry can control an entire housing market, this is the town to watch. Let's set the stage with the numbers. Homes in Odessa average around $244,000, and here's the eye-opener. A remarkable 26% of all listings have cut their prices. That's more than 1 in 4 sellers backing down, a classic flashing warning sign that demand is drying up fast. So what's going on in Odessa? The answer is simple, but powerful. Oil is everything here. Odessa sits at the very center of the Permian Basin, one of the most productive oil regions on the planet, and that means the city's entire housing market lives and dies by the price of crude. When oil prices are soaring, Odessa is electric. Money pours in, drilling ramps up, workers flood the town, and homes get snatched up almost as fast as they hit the market. But when oil prices soften, even a little, the whole machine slams into reverse. Drilling slows, projects get shelved, jobs vanish. And here's the critical part. Those oil workers aren't tied to the town. They follow the work. So when the rigs go quiet, they pack up and leave in search of the next paycheck somewhere else. And that's the real danger for Odessa's homes. It's not just that values are dipping, it's that the city is losing the very workforce that gives those homes their value in the first place. An empty oil town is an empty housing market. This is the boom and bust trap in its purest, most dramatic form. No water crisis, no hurricanes, just the wild, unpredictable swing of a single commodity controlling the fate of thousands of homes. When oil sneezes, Odessa catches a cold. But our next town brings back a threat we touched on earlier, one that's now so severe it could threaten an entire city's survival. Number 7 is a big one. Number 7, Corpus Christi, Texas. Now we head back to the Gulf Coast, but this time to a major city, not a small town. And this one might be the most alarming entry on our entire list. Welcome to Corpus Christi. First, the numbers. Home values here have started slipping, and over 20% of listings have been forced to cut their price. But here's the thing. With Corpus Christi, the prices aren't even the scary part. The real story is something far more fundamental, something every single human being needs to survive. Water. Corpus Christi has earned a chilling title. It's been called the first major American city at serious risk of actually running out of water. Not a small town in the middle of nowhere, a major coastal city with hundreds of thousands of people. How did it get here? It's a collision of two forces. On one side, relentless drought has been draining the region's reservoirs to dangerously low levels. On the other side, Corpus Christi is a massive industrial hub, a center for oil and gas exports. And those industries are incredibly thirsty, gulping down enormous amounts of water to keep running. So you've got shrinking supply and skyrocketing demand, all crashing together at once. And the result? Water restrictions, hard questions, and real fear about the future. Now put yourself in a buyer's shoes. You're about to make the biggest purchase of your life, a home you might live in for the next 20 or 30 years. And then you read the headline, "This city could run out of water." What do? You hesitate. You pump the brakes. You ask yourself the question that freezes this entire market cold. Who wants to buy a forever home in a city that might have to ration water? That single terrifying question is enough to drain the confidence right out of an entire housing market. Because you can replace a job, you can't replace water. But hold on, because our next town is the one nobody saw coming. Number 8 was supposed to be untouchable. Number 8, Austin, Texas. All right, brace yourself, because this is the one nobody saw coming. The town at number 8 isn't some struggling oil patch or a tiny fading community. It's Austin, Texas. Yes, that Austin, the darling of the pandemic boom. The city everyone and their cousin was moving to. Tech money, live music, food trucks, endless hype. For a few wild years, Austin was the hottest housing market in America, where homes sold in hours and buyers waged desperate bidding wars just to get a foot in the door. So how on earth did it end up on this list? Here are the numbers, and they're jaw-dropping. Austin home values are now down more than 20% from their 2022 peak. And get this, a staggering 27% of all listings have slashed their prices, one of the highest rates in the entire country. Sellers here are now cutting prices by a median of about $25,000 just to get someone, anyone, to pay attention. So what flipped the script on America's golden child? One word: overbuilding. Here's exactly what happened. During the boom, demand was so insane that builders went into overdrive. Cranes everywhere. New homes, new apartments, new neighborhoods sprouting up as fast as crews could pour the concrete. Everyone assumed the buyers would never stop coming, but they did. When mortgage rates climbed and the frenzy cooled, Austin was suddenly left holding a massive glut of homes, way more supply than there were buyers to absorb it. And basic economics took over. When supply explodes but demand fades, prices fall. Hard. And that's the real lesson hiding inside Austin's story. It proves that no market is untouchable, not even the hottest, trendiest, most hyped city in the country. Build too much, too fast, and even Austin can go ice cold. It's a humbling reminder for every booming town out there. The higher you fly, the harder you can fall. But we're not done yet. Our next entry pulls back to reveal a bigger, scarier pattern. One that's quietly spreading across dozens of Texas towns at once. Number 9, coming up. Number 9, the Gulf Coast and Panhandle Cluster. All right, before we reach our final entry, we need to zoom out. Because so far, we've looked at towns one by one. Big Spring, Odessa, Corpus Christi, Austin. But here's what most people miss. These aren't isolated stories. They're pieces of a much bigger pattern quietly spreading across the map. So for number 9, we're not talking about a single town. We're talking about an entire cluster. Dozens of smaller Gulf Coast towns and panhandle communities that are all quietly cooling at the exact same time. Think of places scattered across the coast and the high plains. On their own, each one barely makes the news. A few price cuts here, a couple of empty listings there, nothing dramatic enough to grab a headline, but line them all up side by side and a chilling fingerprint appears. The same set of forces showing up again and again. Remember those 4 forces we talked about at the very beginning? Here, they don't strike one at a time. They strike all at once. First, declining populations, young people leaving, towns slowly emptying out. Second, fragile single-industry economies, communities that lean entirely on oil or farming or one big employer with no backup plan when that industry stumbles. Third, climate-driven insurance shocks, hurricanes and floods on the coast, drought on the plains, all sending premiums through the roof. And fourth, that looming water uncertainty hanging over everything. Here's the key insight. These towns aren't crashing because of one giant disaster. They're being squeezed from every direction at once. slowly, quietly, relentlessly. It's death by 1,000 cuts. And that's what makes this cluster so important. It tells us the Texas slowdown isn't a fluke. It's not bad luck in a handful of random spots. It's a structural shift, a deep underlying change in what makes a Texas town worth investing in. Once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. And it leads us straight to the #1 town on our list, the place where all of these forces collide most violently of all. Number 10, the real reason. And now we arrive at number 10. But this isn't a town. This is the answer. The hidden force I promised you at the very beginning. The single thread that ties all of these places together. So let's finally say it out loud. Why did the buyers vanish across Texas? Why are homes sitting empty for 94 days straight while the rest of America keeps climbing? Here's the truth most headlines completely miss. It was never just about interest rates. Sure, mortgage rates play a part. But if rates were the whole story, this would be happening everywhere, evenly. It's not. It's hitting specific towns in specific ways, and that's the giveaway. Something deeper is going on. The real reason is a collision of four forces. The same four we've watched repeat in town after town. First, an energy economy that giveth and taketh away. Booming one year, busting the next, taking thousands of jobs with it. Second, property taxes that punish ownership so hard that even affordable homes become a burden. Third, an insurance market in full retreat, pulling out of coastal and flood zones, or charging premiums that rival a mortgage. And fourth, a water future so uncertain that buyers are genuinely afraid to put down roots. Now here's the part I really want you to remember. The golden rule behind everything we've covered today: people don't buy homes in places where the future feels uncertain. That's it. That's the whole secret. A home isn't just four walls. It's a bet on tomorrow. It's where you imagine raising kids, retiring, building a life. And the moment that future feels shaky, will there be jobs? Will there be water? Can I even afford to insure it? People hesitate, and hesitation freezes a market cold. In these 10 towns, the future got uncertain, fast, and the housing market is simply telling the truth about it. So now that you understand the why, the real question is, what do you actually do with this? Stick with me, because that's exactly where we're headed next. So there you have it. 10 reasons the Texas housing market is telling a story almost nobody's talking about. From Big Spring to Austin, from the drought-stricken coast to the emptying panhandle, the message is the same. When the future feels uncertain, the buyers disappear. But knowledge is only powerful if you use it. So let's turn all of this into action. If you're a buyer, this is your moment. A cooling market hands you leverage you haven't had in years. Sellers are slashing prices by $15,000 to $25,000. So negotiate hard. But before you fall in love with any home, do two things first. Get an insurance quote and a property tax estimate. Those two numbers can turn a bargain into a money pit overnight. If you're a seller, the rule is brutally simple. Price it right from day one. Homes are sitting 94 days on the market now. The one priced honestly in week one sells. The one chasing the market downward loses thousands. And if you're just watching, keep your eye on three signals: the percentage of listings with price cuts, the days on market, and local job announcements. When all three turn sour, that's your early warning, long before the headlines catch up. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment. Which town shocked you the most? And is your town heating up or cooling down? I read every single one. If this opened your eyes, smash that like button, subscribe so you never miss our next deep dive, and check out the video on screen, where we reveal the US cities about to do the exact opposite. Remember, a home is the biggest bet you'll ever make. Make it with your eyes wide open. I'll see you in the next one.